The bunker is one of the best properties to own in Grand Theft Auto Online. Not only does it have two separate ways of making money, whether you want to do excess weapons parts, which you'll get 50 grand on a very quick 2-3 minute sale mission, but as well you have a passive income side. You can see I've got $250,000 worth of product in my business just from pressing a single resupply button every few hours. But we are not focusing on the money-making side of the business today. We are focusing on bunker research and the top 5 gunrunning vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. In the research tab, you will see there is a lot of things to unlock, from missiles for the anti-aircraft trailer to explosive rounds for your sniper Mark II. There are proximity mines that can drop out of your vehicles and obviously a bunch of liveries, but people aren't focusing on the liveries when they're doing gun running. They are focusing on all the upgrades, which brings us to the 5th place vehicle being the Weaponized Tampa. Now, I actually wanted to put this higher up on the list, but there's a couple problems with the Weaponized Tampa that I thought I would mention. First of all, this vehicle features the most upgrades needing to be researched through the bunker, which is an absolute pain. You need to research the dual minigun on the roof, or you'll have a stationary, useless minigun. You also need to research the rear mortars and the missiles for the car, all of the armor upgrades. Granted, they don't do anything, but still, there is a crap ton of upgrades you need to research, even the proximity mines that you can drop out of the rear of the vehicle. Because of that, this was always a painful experience for me to try and get my hands on when starting gun running all the way back in the day when it was released. The other thing about the Weaponized Tampa that makes it quite low is the fact that it cannot survive any explosions. I would love if Rockstar made it so that giving this vehicle additional armor allowed it to survive more explosions, or maybe even gave it Amani Tech upgrades, because it's such a good car, but it's balanced by the fact that one single homing missile will completely blow you up. But with the downsides aside, let's talk about the things that make the Weaponized Tampa absolutely amazing. First of all, it features missiles. Now, these aren't homing missiles, so they're not going to be like the Oppressor Mark II where you can, aim them on whoever's in front of you, but they are still missiles. So if there's somebody in front of you don't like, you can still, try to hit them. But we can see one of the problems with stationary homing missiles mounted on the bottom of the vehicle. You can quite easily blow yourself up. The Weaponized Tampa is also equipped with rear mortars, which are pretty useless, I'm going to be honest. You can see me launch them out of the back of the vehicle right there. I mean, yes, they do count as basically a bomb, which is really, really cool. You can just launch them out of the back of your car. If somebody is trying to chase you, you can see that you might be able to connect one. But personally, I just use the proximity mines. You can spam these proximity mines over and over and over, and they will literally blow up anything that drives over them. So at that point, I just feel like the rear mortars are kind of useless and more of a deterrent rather than actually going to stop anyone. But the major reason why anybody would actually get the Weaponized Tampa is because of this remote minigun. First of all, it is insanely dangerous. Just look at how fast we are blowing up these vehicles in front of me. It will devastate everything and everyone. Not only does this remote minigun cause absolute havoc on people, but it also has some of the furthest range for any gun type weapon in the game. It can basically shoot across the entire length of the LSIA airport, which is pretty dang redonkulous. Overall, the Weaponized Tampa is incredibly fun. It's fast, and it has a lot of capabilities going for it, but the major downsides are the fact that it can't survive any missiles, and it's a pain in the butt to get the upgrades for. Because of that, it's still making it into a very good 5th place position, but unfortunately, it's not getting any further up. In the number 4 position, we arrive at this heavily armored brute, the APC. This is one of the most underrated armored vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online, and I'm going to showcase all the strengths it has going for it. First of all, it has a cannon, and it's a tank cannon. Now, there are actually 2 different weapon upgrades you can do for this vehicle. This is the stock weapon, and it's just a basic tank cannon. It's the same thing you'll get on the Rhino, basically the same thing you'll get on the Conjali. So you can just keep shooting this over and over. Yeah, goodbye car, goodbye that car, goodbye. It's pretty simple to use the tank cannon, and you can very easily swap in and out of seats, as you can notice. All you need to do, if you're playing on console like me, is hold right on the D-pad, and your character will swap seats instantly. So that's pretty cool, and the cannon is, as I said, incredibly deadly. You also have the opportunity to use a missile launcher. The problem is, even though the missile barrage is super deadly, you only get 50 of them, and at that point, I just feel like the cannon is actually better, as a lot of other YouTubers agree as well. When it comes to this vehicle's offensive capabilities, not only does it have the massive tank cannon, but you can also drop mines just like every other gun-running vehicle, which means that, yeah, again, if anybody's trying to chase you, not only can you survive a beating of missiles, but they're gonna get beaten by somebody with the APC cannon or a bunch of mines being placed behind you. It gets even better. The APC, just like some APCs in real life, can also float in water. I mean, you can see that here. We are just able to drive it right into the water. And it's actually decently fast. It's not like the Zaba where it goes like 1 km/h in the water. The APC can actually move. It can seat 4 people, and it's just an incredibly fun vehicle. When you add all the things together, like survivability, the ability to drop bombs, and the fact that you can shoot this thing basically like a tank but drive faster, I absolutely love the APC. It's incredibly fun, and it's just a super good vehicle to use. From one armored vehicle to another, we arrive at the Insurgent Pickup Custom. This vehicle is kind of just a faster, better version of the APC, but it does have some downsides. The major downside is the fact that you don't get that big ol' cannon on the roof, but the upsides are pretty dang good in my opinion. First of all, you have the ability to survive 27 homing missiles. Essentially, if you're getting shot at by an Oppressor or anybody that doesn't like you, they're just not gonna kill you. I mean, they're gonna waste so much time trying to blow you up, and you can just drive under a bridge or, you know, through a tunnel where they can't get to you, respawn the vehicle, and you'll be back to new in just a couple seconds. The other thing that's great about the Insurgent is that, once again, you do have the ability to drop proximity mines. Proximity mines are by far one of the most effective weapons against any ground targets in the game, because literally anything and anyone trying to chase you will have a much harder time while also trying to avoid mines that are laid around the map. I remember one day I was doing a bunker delivery mission, and it had given me the Dune FAV, and it's the only bunker vehicle that they actually let you drop mines with. Because of that, there was somebody that was trying to kill me, and I just spammed a bunch of mines, and they literally died instantly. Mines are just such a good use of weaponry, and I mean, you can just spam them forever. The Gatling gun on the roof is okay, but you're not able to use it unless you literally climb out and then get onto the roof, and you can't really swap back to the driver's seat easily. So yeah, this is definitely a vehicle more effective with 2 people if you want to have somebody on the roof shooting the gun while you're driving. But the Insurgent's actually pretty fast. It can reach a top speed upwards of 100 mph, which isn't too bad. It's got decent handling, very solid off-roading capabilities. It's actually got great grip coefficients, and yeah, it's just kind of the jack of all trades when it comes to armored vehicles. In the number 2 position, we are stepping up the armor game once again in the Phantom or Hauler Custom. You might be asking, what's so special about this simple truck? Well, to purchase it, it's very easy. You don't even need bunker research. You just go right over to Warstock Cash and Carry. You'll see it at the top of your screen in a big old box, and it'll say MOC. All you need to do is purchase it. It's about $1.5 million. And congratulations, you now own the most armored and survivable vehicle in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. This truck can survive 70 homing missiles. Yes, you heard that right. 70! That means, even if an Oppressor Mark II hit every single missile on you, it would still have to spawn 3 times to have the capacity to blow this vehicle up. I remember when I was just chilling in GTA one day, driving down the streets of Los Santos, there was some laser douchebag who didn't like me, and he literally had to take like 10 strafing runs just to get this vehicle smoking, and that was with the overpowered machine gun, as this was a couple years ago. This truck is virtually indestructible, and if you do manage to die while driving it, honestly, that's pretty impressive. This vehicle also features semi-bulletproof glass. It takes 27 rifle rounds to break through it, and even better than that, you can shoot directly behind the cab. See that car behind me? Well, we can see that I'm shooting at him. I've been able to kill the driver, and obviously there's no windows to shoot at the back of this vehicle. So one big bit of advice I can give you is, if there's ever somebody trying to kill you, you can literally just spawn camp them and reverse your vehicle like this, make sure they don't ever get to your glass, and they are going to be dead. They can pull out a machine gun, minigun, they can pull out a railgun for all I care. They'll never kill you. They will literally spend all day trying to blow this truck up, and they will not succeed. And that is why the Hauler Custom makes it into the 2nd place position. I should also point out it's fairly fast, achieving a top speed of 102 mph. That's faster than the Insurgent Pickup Custom. And to finish off today's video, in the 1st place position, we arrive at the Oppressor. This is hands down one of my favorite vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online, and it is definitely my favorite motorcycle. People have to realize that, of course, nowadays, with the Deluxo and Oppressor Mark II and all these other armored flying vehicles and armored aircraft, that the Oppressor doesn't seem as impressive as it used to be. But when this vehicle was first added into Grand Theft Auto Online, there was no Oppressor Mark II, Deluxo, anything. It was just the Ruiner 2000 as competition. And obviously, when you compare this vehicle to a Ruiner 2000, I mean, it just absolutely smokes it in every way, shape, and form. Anybody that was somebody owned an Oppressor when this vehicle was released, and it's obviously common sense why. It has missiles, it has incredible maneuverability, and a freaking rocket boost. It's just an incredible vehicle. And even nowadays, I'd be willing to say that the Oppressor is still a very just good vehicle. It has the missiles, which are still very dangerous. It can drive at 150 miles per hour due to the rocket boost, and it can fly. Plus, it is still better than the Oppressor Mark II in a skilled pilot's hands at dodging missiles, which makes the vehicle incredibly effective. Overall, it's not the best when you compare it to the Mark II, but it still has its fair share of advantages, and it is easily one of the best vehicles added into the Gunrunning update. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my list in the comments down below. If you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.